Okay, so in the previous video, we have seen the overloading example, okay, wherein there are different type of quadrilaterals and we have used different methods to get the values or the dimensions of the sides of the quadrilateral, right? And at the end of the video, I asked you all to solve the same problem or same task using the concept of constructor. Okay, so here I'd be using the concept of constructor to solve the same problem again. Okay, so before that, let's just revise the concept of constructor in Java. Okay, so basically constructors are special type of methods that enables an object to initialize itself at the time of creation, right? Then constructor methods have the same name as the class containing itself, or the class containing it. Okay, then they do not have any return type, not even void. Okay, so we don't have to initialize any return type for the constructor. Again, I'm telling you, constructor is type of method itself, right? Just like we have methods in Java, okay, for a class. Okay, so constructors are, again, they are some special type of method only. Okay, so then, so each class may have multiple constructors, each with different parameters list. So just like our method overloading concept, we can have different constructors, okay, and each will have their own separate parameter list. Okay, so if for one there is 3, for other that might be 2, the other one will be 1, then there can be empty as well. Okay, and accordingly we have to plan our constructor. Okay, so I think that is clear. So now let's see the experiment, or let's say the program. So the aim is to initialize different type of quadrilateral using the constructors and finding their perimeter, the same as the previous video, right? So again, we are importing this Java util scanner, right? So that we can uh, use it in the later part of the program to, let's say, yeah, take input from the user. Okay, and then coming to the main class. So on the main class, the class of the quadrilateral, right? So our class here is the quadrilateral class, and again, it's like the previous example, we have 4 sides: side A, side B, side C, and side D. And here you can see we have our first constructor. So it's called the default constructor, also called a do nothing constructor. So basically I am not passing any variable here, or I am not doing anything as well. So what you can do is you can uh, do something like this. So let me take it. We can also have something like this. Okay, so what this will do is basically, so if you are not initializing anything, so we can say that sides are 0. All right, so we can do that, correct? So we can quickly, I'll just type this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this can be done. Okay, so this is basically the do nothing concept. So if nothing, no parameter is passed for the sides, then it will take all the sides as 0. So you can leave it blank as well. Okay, coming to the second type of constructor, wherein all the sides are different. So what I am doing, just remember what we did in the last example, wherein we are using the get dimension method. So similarly here, what I am doing is I am giving the same name as the class, as a quadrilateral with a capital Q, and there is no return type, and then a list of parameters is as same as the previous example. So since all the sides are different, so I am passing, or I will be expecting these 4 parameters, okay, which will be then initialized to the values. Similarly, if during the initialization, okay, it is either a parallelogram or a rectangle, then what I can do is I can expect only 2 values, either the length or the breadth. At that point of time, this particular constructor would be invoked, or this particular would be called. Okay, so this is, I can say, again it's the same thing, our name as a quadrilateral, and I have only 2 variables or 2 parameters in this particular constructor. And the third is that when my all the sides are equal, that can be either a rhombus or that can be either a square. Okay, similar to the previous example. And then I have one method called the get perimeter, which would be adding all the sides to give you the parameter of the particular quadrilateral. Coming to the main function, so what's the difference here? Again, it's the same as previous one. The only difference here is how I am initializing the objects here. Okay, so what I'm doing, let's see. So obviously for choice 1, or when my case is 1, it is a quadrilateral with different sides or different lengths of the sides. So obviously I've been needing 4 variables there. Okay, so I have taken the 4 variables from the user. I'm asking the 4 variables from the user, and after that here I am you know actually declaring or actually creating my object of quadrilateral type. So what I am doing, first the class name, right, and then the object name followed by the new keyword, and quadrilateral followed by the 4 parameters. So here what I am doing is I am not using any other method to initialize the values or the sites. Declaring or while creating the object itself, I am passing these 4 parameters. Okay, so here since there are 4 values that I am passing with my uh, you know let's say constructors, what will happen? The type 2 constructor here, you can see the constructor type 2, where in all has a different, this would be called and this would be invoked, and all these sites would be initialized. Okay, similarly for case 2, you can see what we have done is, first we are taking the 2 values from the let's say user. Okay, and then I am trying to create an object of rectangle type which has the opposite sides of similar length or equal length, and then I am using again, I am using the keyword or the class name is quadrilateral, my object name rectangle. Using the new keyword, I am using this again the keyword quadrilateral, and I am passing these 2 variables. Okay, so that means now I have 2 parameters to be passed. Okay, and similarly, and for that this particular constructor will be invoked, and I'll be having these 2 things. Similarly for the square also the same thing, just check. So I am taking only 1 variable, then I am creating this particular object of quadrilateral type named square, and then I am doing the rest. Okay, so in this way we can make use of constructor in different ways. So you can see it's very much similar to that of method overloading, but here I don't have to declare or create a method. Okay, or I don't have to initialize the values after creation. At the very creation of using my constructor, at the very point of creation of the object, I can initialize the values. Okay, so now we'll be seeing how to run this thing, and then we'll continue. Okay. Okay, so let's now try to run the code. Okay, so obviously the first step will be to compile. So the name of my file is const test. Okay, so let's say Java const dot Java. Yeah, so I don't have any error in this particular code, so just let's run it. Const test. Okay, so yeah, so we get this menu. Just let's check, just like last video. So first would be our first menu. There is a quadrilateral with unequal sides. So let's randomly put 4 different sides, and then the perimeter of the quadrilateral is 16. So just you can add 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 5 is 12, 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, let's run it again, and now we'll let's say select the rectangle. Okay, yeah, option is 2. So let's say the length is 5, and let's say the breadth is 8. Okay, so the perimeter is 26. So 8 plus 5, 13, 13 into 2, 26. So it is working fine. So let's go for the third part. That's a square, again running it Java const test. Yeah, so now let's go for the square. So let's say yeah, let's take the side is 6 units or 6 centimeter, that might be. Okay, so let's say it's 6 units. Yeah, the perimeter is 64, so it's working just as we want it. Okay, so in this way we can also make use of constructors, okay, which would make our initialization process much faster in Java. Okay, so please try some more examples. Please try to think of situations, okay, which can be molded into programming, and in which we can make use of constructor for much more efficient code. Okay, thank you everyone.